What's going on, guys? So I want to demonstrate cooking a pizza, a fire-grilled pizza, on the Char-Griller ceramic AKORN. So what you're going to need is we're going to make the dough from scratch. Sounds intimidating, but it's not. It's really simple. As long as you have a mixer, you can do it by hand too, but God forbid you do that. I mean, it's just tedious. But you can either get a mixer with a dough hook, or you can go and buy a cheap bread machine. That works as well too, and it'll do all the kneading and bumping and rising and everything for you. So you don't have to worry about like doing anything but adding the ingredients. I'm using a stand mixer today, so let's get to it. These are what you're gonna need. I recommend bread flour. I just grab whatever's on sale most of the time. You need a good bread flour. The bread flour I recommend because you're gonna get a crisper crust. The bread's gonna have a real crunch to it versus standard flour. So get you some bread flour if you can. Of course, kosher salt, some vegetable oil, some sugar, and some cornmeal. And last but not least, you need yeast and water. Use a rapid rising yeast because otherwise you're gonna be waiting forever for that dough to rise. So let's get over to the stand mixer and we'll talk about the quantities of each that we'll need. Okay, so here we are with the stand mixer. We're gonna go ahead and lift up the head, and we're gonna add a cup of lukewarm water to this. And I've got a packet of rapid rising yeast. All right. Let's let that mix a little bit. I like to kind of let the yeast and water mix. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of sugar. Two teaspoons of salt. Three tablespoons of vegetable oil. All right, I'd like to let that mix a little bit as well. Look at that, that's pretty good right there. Now we're gonna do 3 cups of flour, bread flour. What I like to do is I like to add a cup, let it mix, add the next cup, let it mix. And I like to lock the head in place. Although this mixer, sometimes it jiggles and it'll knock it loose, so I have to hold it. I just let it mix in. Turn it off. Add another cup. I should be able to get 2 medium pizzas out of this dough, by the way. Okay, add my last cup of flour. Put the head back down in there, lock the head. All right, now that we're done kneading, I did have to add a little bit of water in there just to kind of get it to form more. But what I like to do, this is the dough ball. What I like to do is I take my hands like this and I just kind of spin it in my hands and knead it into itself, just in the air. I just do this for a few minutes just to kind of help stretch it and massage it in a little bit. You just do this for, I don't know, about a minute or so. Doesn't take very long. You're just kind of kneading it into itself. Also helps you check the pliability of the dough. It'll become more pliable as it rises and everything, or after it has done its rise. So I just kind of take it and just spin it around and tuck it into itself, into the bottom with my fingers. And then when you're done, kind of just squish it together and just kind of punch it in. Now, set this on the counter for a second. Get you some spray. You can either use a spray oil, which is just some Costco cooking spray, canola oil. And you take the dough and throw it down in that bowl that you just oiled up, and then spray the top of the dough. Just like that. And then we're gonna take some cling wrap. And cover it up. Now you wanna set this in like a warm spot in the house, like your kitchen. Put it somewhere that's kind of warm. Some people like to set their dough by the refrigerator because the refrigerator is a warmer part of the kitchen. I agree. You definitely want it somewhere where it's going to be able to sit and rise. And the warmer the environment, the better. And you put saran wrap on top because it kind of increases the humidity and everything with it as well. It acts as a proofer. So what we're going to do is we're going to let this sit and rise for over an hour, because it'll take at least an hour to rise. And it should double in size. So we'll get back to this when we get ready to put a pizza together. All right guys, so our dough has definitely doubled in size. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it out, put it on a floured surface. We're gonna just kind of knead it around a little bit, and we're gonna separate it in two. I'm gonna put the other dough aside. I won't use it today. I'll probably just put it in the fridge or something, use it for another day. Don't really need to do 2 pizzas today. Grill is outside just behind the camera, heating up. And we're gonna use Hunt's garlic and herb sauce. I'm not making my own tomato sauce. It's homemade to a certain point, and that's mainly the dough. The rest of it is just made ingredients pretty much. I do have some pineapple. This is fresh pineapple that I cut up. And I've got some Canadian bacon here, and I got some nice Mott's cheese and some garlic powder. And we'll explain what the garlic powder will do here in a moment. So let's get the camera in on the prep area and we'll go into this. Okay, let's get the dough out. Well, first, we'll take some of that bread flour we were using earlier, and we're gonna go ahead and put a little sprinkle of it on the counter. Make sure your counter's clean already, of course. And we'll take the dough and dump it out onto the surface, like so. I've got a knife. I'm not going to use all this dough, like I said, so I just need enough for 1 pizza. So we're going to cut the dough right down the middle. Set it aside. Now we got just the dough that we need here. I don't want to mess up the CO2 that's already in the dough that the yeast is forming. I actually want to kind of keep the outer rings puffy as possible. We're just going around and we're just stretching the dough on the outer rings. And just kind of give it a press. We're gonna flip it. I just kind of flip it back and forth as we go here. Like so, until we get it unpliable enough that we can pick it up and just kind of start to stretch it with our hands. And just kind of pulling at the outer ring a little bit. It's pretty pliable dough. Now I'll take it and put it on my hand. I'll make it 2 fists with my hand. both hands, and I'm just kind of stretching the dough and going in a circle with it here. Just kind of let gravity work with it. Like I said, we're just doing a medium pizza here. And using your knuckles on your hands to stretch. Now if your dough, you punch through the dough, start over. Set it down, knead it all back together, and start over. You can see it's stretching pretty nice. Just set it down. Now I'll stretch it on the table some too. Like I said, this should make one medium pizza. Alright, throw it back down again. That's pretty well stretched as far as I want to stretch it. Now, you'll see I have a pizza peel here. The pizza peel is basically just to put the pizza on. I prep on the peel. If you're really good at doing this kind of stuff, you can scoop it with the peel. I'm not going to do that. So this is where the cornmeal comes in handy. It's a wood peel. I recommend a wood peel. The pizza will slide off easier and onto your grill. So what I like to do is just, you know, sprinkle enough cornmeal on there, like so. Just kind of spread it all over the peel. So what the cornmeal does is it acts like little balls, if you will, to roll the dough off, to smoothly onto your stone out on the grill. So let's go ahead and put the dough on there, just like so. Next thing we want to do here is, I got the garlic powder. We're going to take the garlic powder, and we're going to sprinkle it all over the crust. Just go in circles and make your way to the middle. If you don't like garlic that much, you can bypass this step. I like the garlic in my crust, so I always use it. Just kind of rub it in with your hand into the crust. Right? That's pretty good. Now let's take the sauce. We're going to scoop it, blot it in the middle. My daughter's excited about this, if you can't hear her. Actually, she's not even old enough to eat pizza yet, really. We're just getting her started on solids more. So anyways, depending on how much sauce you want, this is about as far as I like to take it, honestly. I just like to get it all the way out to the edges. Like that. Set the sauce aside, put my spoon aside. Next thing we want to do is take our cheese and just kind of scatter it about. This is kind of like a shredded crumble mozzarella I got here. You can use any cheese you want, really. You can use any toppings you want. I'm basically just wanting to demonstrate baking a pizza on the new AKORN ceramic. You want the grill to be at least 400 degrees or so, 400, 450. If you can keep it around 450, that's great. You'll have less chance of burning your pizza crust underneath. I know some grills, they tell you, oh yeah, get it up to like 700 degrees. Don't do that. you risk burning the bottom of your pizza. Now if your pizza's not round enough like you can kind of shape it here as you go. Pineapple. Got some pineapple and sprinkle that all over the place. I make these pizzas all the time. I like FireGrilled Pizza. It beats Domino's, and it's actually healthier for you than Domino's or Little Caesars or any of those big pizza chains that you're used to buying from. It's healthier, it's less greasy pizza, and you'll see what I mean when we're done with it. So let's go ahead and put our Canadian bacon on there. Alright, it's about as far as I want to go with it. Let's go out to the grill and get it going, shall we? Take a look at that. Ah, yeah. Alright guys, here's the pizza. We're going to put it on the grill here. We're sitting close to 400, so we're going to open her up. I'm using Char-Griller's pizza stone here, if you can see. I'll show you what the importance of that cornmeal is. See how that pizza just slides right off of there? That's why we use cornmeal. I'm going to close it and let it cook for about 10 minutes or so. One thing I want to say about when you're doing the pizzas, I like the grill to be right around the 400, 450 mark. And then you want to kind of control it if you can, because you don't want, like I said earlier, you don't want to burn the bottom of your pizza. Now, I've seen on the Kamado videos of other Kamados such that they say, oh, you know, ramp it as hot as you can, it'll bake well. Let me tell you something. It will bake just fine at 450 degrees in here, just like an oven. Difference is you're going to get that fire grilled taste in the pizza. And I've got both vents wide open right now because when I opened it, I dropped temp. So I'm ramping it up. And I'll probably just leave it wide open for the whole cook because it's only like a 10 to 15 minute cook for a pizza. And we'll come and look at this here in a minute when it's been about, I don't know, 5 minutes. Alright guys, let's check on the pizza here. See, it's been baking for about 5 minutes or so. What I like to do is give the pizza a bit of a turn. Just kind of turn the pizza around. I can already feel that crunchiness from the crust coming around. So let's close her back up. 5 more minutes. Alright guys, pizza is done. You actually see some of the juices from the pineapple kind of bubbling up there. So what I want to do is let this bad boy sit for a little bit. You see some of the... See, you want to try to reduce any burning under your pizza as much as possible. So let's bring it inside. I'm going to close the vents off to kill the fire. And let's go inside and try this pizza out. Alright guys, let's cut this pizza. Hear that crunch on that crust? That's what we want. Oops. The thick crust. Flip it around and do one more. All right. Let's take a bite. So, man, stretchy cheese. Here is the finished product. Got a little dark on the bottom, not too bad, but that's what I'm saying. You don't really want to cook it too hot. You end up with some burnt undercrust, so. Good. Let me tell y'all something. It beats ordering, man. It really does. And the pizza seems healthier. It's not as greasy as when you usually order out. This is homemade to a certain degree, and well, I mean, if you can make your own dough, you might as well call it. I mean, it's homemade. Man, the ceramic does the job really well. And it's funny, I had really good results on the steel acorn as well, but this ceramic acorn is, man, it's changing my life. Okay, it's not really changing my life, but it's pretty awesome. Cheers, guys. It does a good pizza.